Hey guys, Brian with Workshop Addict, and I have 10 of my flashlights laid out here, and they're gonna range from very budget friendly all the way up to expensive military grade flashlights. There are also a ton of different lumen ratings. We're gonna look at them in a higher light situation and also low light situations. You're gonna be surprised what you're gonna see with the difference between a lot of these, so stay tuned. We will have links in the description to all of these lights in the order that we have them placed here, so you can scroll down, see what they are, and get links to where to buy them. But I also have a GoPro set up so I can flash different lights on the wall and you can see what they look like. We have them ranged from highest lumen, which is 3650, all the way down to 150 lumen. And then there's a lot of them that are kind of the same between some of the Olights and the Streamlights. We have some SureFires in here, and we also have one Wowtac. Now, I think that's a great place to start out. This is the Wowtac 8 or A5. And it was sent to me to try to do a video on, and it does have a 26650 battery, 5,000 amp hour. And if you look at it in the bright light against the wall, that is supposed to be 3650 lumen. Now, if we just take the Olight Warrior X Pro at 2250 lumen, that's going to be the small one that I'm shaking here. Totally different light, the Warrior Pro X. That's going to be meant for very long range. Now this is the Olight M2R Pro Warrior. Look at the difference, and this M2R Pro is only 1800 lumen. And that, while there's a difference, you know, the Wowtac is there, but that's a tough one. So this Wowtac is one of your lower end lights that you'll find on Amazon. And I wanted to kind of give that a little bit of proof here as to when you're purchasing a lesser quality light, you might not be getting what you think. Another good thing to look at is the Warrior X Pro. I'm going to put that up, make sure that we are in high mode, and I'm going to put up the Olight MR2 Pro. Now look at the difference in how much light you get in that circle. The Warrior X Pro, which I'm moving there, is just meant for very, very long distances. So if you pick this up and said, I want the brightest light I could get at 2250 lumens, you're not going to be happy with it unless you're using it a long distance away. With the Olight M2R Pro Warrior, you can use this at a lot more close range and be happy with the amount of light you're getting. That's something that I think is very important for a lot of light buyers to look at. Now this light, if I don't knock all of them over, this is the SureFire Scout. It's KE2-DF. This is off one of my guns, and I love this light. But if I put it up against the wall, you can see the difference in the light color, and especially if we compare it to the M2R Pro. I mean, there's a significant difference in light. I was surprised to see the Olight be a more cool color with the SureFire being a very high color temperature. Interesting there. Both of them, you know, in the daylight anyway. If we move on down, this is the Streamlight ProTac HLX. It's 1,000 lumens, and this is where we get into, you can run this with an 18650 or two CR123As. We put that up against the wall. This too is meant to get out there a bit, and if we compare this to the Warrior Pro from Olight, you can see it's smaller. If we compare this to the SureFire has a little bit more of a circle, but the SureFire is still brighter, almost blue. So that is very, very interesting. We have the Olight S1R Baton 2. This is 1,000 lumen light. Now when you turn it on, it's not always 1,000. You have to get it in turbo mode to get there. It has a 16340 battery, which is Olight's, it's actually one of Olight's proprietary batteries. I'm sure you can buy it, but inside all Olights have this proprietary battery, so you can use their MCC charger that goes on the end. That's 550 milliamp hours. So when we turn this guy on, you can see it's really kind of a big light. I'm trying to get into turbo here. I'm getting moonlight modes. There we go. I turned it off. So there's our turbo mode, which is very bright and round. That's 1,000 lumen. And here comes the M2R Pro at 1,800 lumen. Big difference, right? But this is such a small light that you could put this on your hat with the different modes. I mean, this is an everyday carry light to me, where the M2R Pro is getting a little bit larger. So the amount of light that comes out of this little light is awesome. For my big hands, I would not want to use this in a tactical situation where I'm trying to have it on. It's only got a forward switch, but to carry it every day, this is a very awesome light. To compare that, this is Olight's i5T. This is 300 lumens, runs off a AA. If I can get this guy back on. You can hardly see the i5T up against the wall, and then I bring in the baton, which is significantly brighter. So when we get into these smaller lights, it's going to be hard to see. In fact, this is going to be a Streamlight ProTac 2L, and we'll compare that to the Streamlight ProTac 1L AA. Now there is a significant difference in the color of light between these two, and that is interesting. This is the 2L that I'm shaking, which is more blue, and then the 1L AA is more of a cooler light. Very, very interesting. Let's pull some dark situations out and try to walk through some of these lights and show you what they'll do and what you see and what you might be looking for in a flashlight. So I took the very small Olight i1R2 and just set it up on its low 40 lumen to give me some light here, which is great. And I want to start out with this Wowtac, which is supposed to be 3650 lumens. And it does actually work well for what you have. This has got a single forward button, but I should be able to take this Warrior Pro from Olight right over top of it, and you can see through. Now, if I shut off the Wowtac, you can see how dedicated or laser-like this stream is. And if I come over to the Olight M2R Pro, you can see how much larger of light I get in this short space. Now we are looking at a 50-foot distance here, and you can see in the 50-foot how large that lighted circle is, and then there's a little bit more light that extends beyond it. If I switch over to the Warrior Pro, I would not be happy going through the inside of buildings with this Warrior X Pro. It's just too bright. If I was looking inside cars or anything like that, as a police officer, this is way too bright and way too, it's meant for a long, long distance throw. And that's why I keep coming back to, in a lot of videos, this Olight M2R Pro Warrior, which is perfect. Now, if I drop down to what would be my light on my gun, this is the SureFire KE2-DF. This is what I would be looking at for more of a house clearing light. So when I turn this on, I know exactly what's in front of me and what I'm shooting at. It does not have this distinct circle of light. It's more balanced, as you can see. And if I switch between the two, this is the Olight MR2 Pro, and then I go over to the SureFire. Huge, huge difference in cost between these two lights. It's a lot easier to charge the Olight, but I do like the way that the SureFire gives me light, and I have confidence in this light because it is a very tactical light. If I go to the Streamlight, this is the HLX, which is 1,000 lumen. I'm getting, again, more of this smaller circle of light, as you can see here, but I do have a lot of light around it. This wouldn't be as bad if I was going through cars or looking at things because of the amount of light around it, but that big beam in the center is still going to, if you look here on this camera, give me way more glare than what is needed. This is 1,000 lumen light, and then if I drop down, I'm going to click on the Olight S1R Baton 2. I'm going to try to get it in turbo mode. There we go. That's 1,000 lumens from that very, very small everyday carry light. And you can see how large the circle is there, I hope. I mean, it's huge, which this is going to be a great light for closer up than it's going to be for anything else. If we move cameras here, it's not too bright. I can still put it down here and read what's happening. I'm not sure how the camera's going to pick that up. But it works excellent in that situation. Oh, I guess it didn't have turbo on. If I bring it down now with turbo. So this is the turbo 1000. And then that's compared to the Streamlight HLX, which is again out. We'll go back to the 1000 on the small Olight. I guess in a tactical situation, if you needed that turbo, it was hard for me to switch on with the single switch, but this is easy to charge for sure. If I switch over to the Olight i5T, this is a 300 lumen that is run on AA batteries. There's a single switch in the back. And again, this is a great close-up light, 2 levels. This is 300 lumen. This is the low, I think it's 100 lumen. So you can see, you can read easy with that one, but still get some pretty good light out. Streamlight Wowtac 2L. Again, very straight, good long beam. Meant for longer distances again, but a good amount of light around it. Very bright up close. And then we move over to the Streamlight 1L AA. This is 2 AA's or a CR123A. Not rechargeable unless you find rechargeable CR123As. I'm not completely up on them. I don't like rebuying my batteries. I'd rather go with an 18650, which is why I keep changing lights upwards. But also a good light, not too crazy for a brightness circle as we get into here, but definitely works. There's a huge difference in lights here where you could think you're buying one, and if you were to buy this Warrior X Pro, while it is very bright, it would definitely not make you happy if you were using this camping or in a very low situation. This is it on low, and it still has this crazy bright circle. If we bring it in here, it's just too much glare for close use. So the major point I have in this video is don't buy a flashlight based off of looks. This one looks really cool, but wouldn't work well if you have it in close distances, right? This is the Olight Warrior X Pro. Awesome for outdoors, long distances. And you really don't want to buy lights like this Wowtac if you think that the lumens that they're telling you might be correct. So you kind of have to make this judgment based on the power, the brand name that you have going, a lot of different things. And this Wowtac is not a bad light. It's an affordable light. It just doesn't produce the same type of light that others do around it that are claimed to be less lumens. There's a lot here, right? So how do you go through and pick out the right light? Well, Streamlight, SureFire, and Olight have all been in business well over 10 years. And I think it's Streamlight that's been in the business since 1979. There's a lot of flashlights out there. I'll have more exacts in the description below. Look at who's been in the market. Look at who is made where. Look at where they're marketed and what kind of website they have. And then look at a lot of reviews. I think there's a lot of honest guys out there that are going to do something similar to what we tried to do here and show you what light pattern you're going to get out of each flashlight, because that's going to make a big difference in your use. As we always say here, it's the right tool for the job. And some of these would fit and some of these wouldn't, depending on what you're doing. So I hope this helped you out a little bit. Again, there's always some links in the description. There are going to be some affiliate links down there. They will help the channel be able to purchase some of this stuff to help show you guys what's happening. So we always appreciate your support on that. As always, give us a like in this video if you can. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.